394. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 394 by Assemblymember Mark Stone and others, and act relating to alcoholic beverage control.
Mr. Stone, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill passed out of the Assembly on consent. It is back with clarifying amendments from the Senate. Members, this bill is on fleek. I request your aye votes.
Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 72, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 16, pass and retain. Moving to file item 17, that's AB 594. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 592 by Assemblymember Mark Stone, and act relating to juveniles and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Members, that's 592. My error. Mr. Stone, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, the important amendment that brings this bill back to us for concurrence is to add an urgency clause so that our foster youth can take advantage of the records verification that much sooner, and I request your aye vote.
No mics. Thank you, Mr. Stone. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 74, no 0 on the urgency. Ayes 74, no 0 on the bill. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 18, pass and retain. File item 19, that's AB 607. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 607 by Assemblymember Dodd and others, and act relating to real estate brokers.
Mr. Dodd, you may open.
Yes, Mr. Speaker and members, AB 607 back on concurrence from the Senate will allow real estate broker trust accounts to operate more efficiently and better protect the public. Senate amendments make technical, non-substantive changes and clarify that brokers are still responsible for their trust accounts. There is no known opposition to this bill, which unanimously passed the Assembly and the Senate. I respectfully ask for your aye vote to concur with the Senate amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Dodd. Seeing no discussion on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 73, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 20 is passed and retained. File item 21, AB 728. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 728 by Assemblymember Hatley, and act relating to state government.
Mr. Hadley, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. On AB 728, the Assembly passed this unanimously. The Senate amendments were technical and clarifying in nature and update code to reflect changes enacted in one of the budget trailer bills. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Hadley. Seeing no discussion on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 73, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 22, AB 830. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 830 by Assemblymember Eggman and others, and act relating to civil actions.
Dr. Eggman, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to present AB 830, which is back with clarifying amendments from the Senate on concurrence. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. There is no opposition.
Thank you, Dr. Eggman. Seeing no discussion on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 67, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File item 23, that's AB 1403. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1403 by Assemblymember Mainshine and others, and act relating to housing.
Mr. Mainshine.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1403 would authorize JPAs between public agencies and private nonprofit 501c3s for the sole purpose of providing housing combined with other supportive services for homeless persons identified as the most costly frequent users of publicly funded emergency services without the authority to issue debt. The only amendment taken in the Senate was the addition of a sunset date. Thank you, and I respectfully request your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 73, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File items 24 through 30 pass and retain. We are on third reading This is file item 31 for the purpose of amendments. ACR 92. Clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 92 with amendments by Assemblymember Gibson.
Ms. Gibson, you may open on the amendments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. The amendments of ACR 92 are technical, non-substantive in nature. I respectfully ask that the amendments be adopted and placed back on the file.
Mr. Roll call vote, members. Clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tie the vote. Ayes 66, noes 0. Amendments are adopted. Bill is out to print and back on file. File item 32, pass and retain. Moving to file item 33. That's ACR 90. Clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 90 by Assemblymember Irwin relative to California Firefighters Memorial Day.
Ms. Irwin, you may open.
Mr. Speaker and members, this autumn, on the 17th of October, we will recognize the 13th Annual California Firefighters Memorial Ceremony to pay tribute to the men and women who risked their lives to protect our great state. As Californians, we recognize the dangers that these brave firefighters face every day. Each of the names engraved on the limestone walls of the memorial is a tribute to the courageous heroes of our state and should cause us to remember those of them who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Whether their lives were lost in a sudden tragedy or from succumbing to a job-related disease, all of these women and men put their lives in jeopardy to keep us safe. This resolution provides an opportunity for us to recognize the courage of those who lost their lives in the line of duty, as well as the significant sacrifices made by the families they have left behind. I ask that the first roll be open for co-authors.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, Ms. Irwin's asking the first roll be open for co-authors. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors on ACR 90. Co-authors on ACR 90. The clerk will close the roll. There are 73 co-authors added without objection. We may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Ms. Irwin, back to you for your guest introduction related to this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to introduce the following firefighters in recognition of ACR 90. Chris Mann, the President of the Ventura County Firefighters. Dave Gelati, President of the LA County Firefighters Local 1014. Mike Jones, the Executive Board Member of LA County Firefighters Local 1014, and Mike's father is also on the wall. Jeff Donabedian with the Oxnard Firefighters, and Haiti Jalon, Executive Director for the California Fire Foundation. Please give them all a big round of applause.
Members, we're going to stay with guest introductions for the moment. Mr. Holden and Dr. Weber will both be recognized from Mr. O'Donnell's desk. Members, if you could take your conversations off the floor. Let's give Mr. Holden a little bit of room at Mr. O'Donnell's desk for his guest introduction. Mr. Holden. Members. Mr. Holden, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to make a very important introduction today. I join with my colleague from San Diego, Dr. Shirley Weber, in introducing the San Diego State men's basketball coach, Mr. Steve Fisher. Mr. Fisher was just selected as the Coach of the Year, or actually a Coach John Wooden Legends of Coaching, for a legacy of great coaching throughout his career. With all the great work that he has done at San Diego State in 16 seasons as the San Diego State coach, he has guided the Aztecs to 8 NCAA tournament appearances, including a pair of Sweet 16 appearances in 2011 and 2014, as well as 9 Mountain West championships, including back-to-back championships in 2014 and 2015. Many of you also may remember Coach Fisher when he coached in the 90s at the University of Michigan. He had the opportunity to coach the Fab Five, as they were called at that time. Mr. Weber, let me see, I should know his name. I don't know his name. No, Weber played Chris Weber. How could I forget his first name, right? Anyway, Chris Weber, and certainly, see, I'm in the San Diego State frame of mind this morning, but anyway, it's a great pleasure to be able to introduce him. I remember when I played at San Diego State in the late 70s and early 80s, and folks would say, so where do you play ball? I said, San Diego State. And they said, well, where is that? And I said, well, really? But now San Diego State is clearly on the map with the great leadership under Coach Fisher. And so if I could, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Weber to join in the presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and members, I join in this great occasion to acknowledge Coach Fisher. I have some, what I call my Chinese experience, some sweet and sour about this, because prior to the coach coming, as a faculty member for 40 years, I didn't always have the greatest teams. But the great thing was that I'd always get this notice at the beginning of the semester begging me to buy tickets. And I could get 6 tickets to every game, all football or female and male basketball, baseball, and something else, a whole bunch of tickets. So I was very popular in my neighborhood for like $150. And so eventually, at some point, I got a call from a friend about me getting these tickets, and I said, well, let me find out what happened. I didn't get a notice. And I called over, and they go, oh, we don't do that anymore. I said, why? Well, we have a new coach. I thought, what? This man has ruined my reputation in my community. I can't get these cheap tickets anymore. I was taking all the children from the neighborhood to the games. And then in addition to that, the tickets were higher in terms of me as a faculty trying to get them. So he kind of ruined my game in some way. But in many ways, he enhanced the campus immensely. I'm on the academic side, and so I paid very little attention to the sports other than the students who came to me. And so when first of all, I hear someone who's coming to the campus who not only has won now this award, but when he came to the campus, I wanted to know what was his relationship going to be with the students. How are they going to respond to this coach, but how are they going to respond to the faculty? And I can tell you over 40 years, we had the good, the bad, and the ugly all combined sometimes in one person. But what I noticed first of all, and most of all, was that my students became really scholars. That those who might have been trifling, and I have trifling students, Chris was not one, but I've had the trifling students over the past who felt they did not have to come to class because they were special people, and that coming to class was merely a pit stop on the way to the NBA. And they would sometimes act that way. And I didn't always have the support of the coaching staff to say, no, you must be a scholar, you must go to class, or you will not play. The good thing is that I didn't find that happening at all during the time of Coach Fisher. Students knew they had to come to class, they knew they had to be scholars, And some of the more famous ones, I said to them, I stand between you and the NBA. You will come to class. And they came, they went to the NBA. But it is important to understand that he and his staff truly promoted our concept of the scholar athlete, the person who developed the full individual. And when I think of Coach Wooden having been a student at UCLA during his reign, he produced scholar athletes. He produced young men who were respectful, young men who took their academics seriously, who wanted to be students but also were excellent in sports and athletics. And that represents the best that California has. So I'm just honored that Coach Fisher's here, that he really has taken San Diego State to another level, and most importantly, that he has taken the students, the concept of being a student, a scholar athlete, to a level that all of us in California should be very proud. Congratulations, Coach, and thank you so much for being on the floor with us today. I also acknowledge the fact that the president of San Diego State is also with us. Dr. Hirschman is here, who's also a strong advocate for students at San Diego State and has made tremendous contributions to our campus. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move back to motions and resolutions. Ever so briefly, Ms. Garcia, you are recognized for your procedural motions.
Mr. Speaker, I request unanimous consent to suspend Joint Rule 62A and allow the Business and Professions Committee to hear SB 323 Hernandez on Tuesday, July 14, 2015 at 9 a.m. in room 447. The bill is currently noticed for a vote only.
Without objection, such shall be the order.
At the request of Ms. Waldron, please remove the following bill from the consent calendar. File item 62, SB 175, Huff.
Clerk will note. Members, we are back on the file. File items 34 and 35, pass and retain. We're moving to file item 36, that's SB 470. The clerk will read.
Senate Bill 470 by Senator Jackson, an act relating to civil actions.
Mr. Stone, you may open.
Mr. Speaker, members, I ask for your support on Senator Jackson's bill that would create court efficiencies for rulings with respect to evidence on motions for summary judgment and summary adjudications.
Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 70, no 0. Measure passes. File items 37 through 39 pass and retain. We're moving to file item 40. That's SCR 35. Clerk will read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 35 by Senator Stone and others relative to anti-Semitism.
Mr. Bloom, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. SCR 35 is a resolution that seeks to condemn the rise of anti-Semitism that has been seen around the world and, sadly, here in our own state. In recent times, we have seen a home right here in Sacramento proudly displaying a Nazi swastika on top of an American flag. We've seen swastikas spray painted on the walls of Jewish fraternity homes and other shameful acts of anti-Semitism on our college campuses. Across the globe, too, there has been an increase in threats and violence, including murders against the Jewish people. A year ago, in April, the United States Department of State released the International Religious Freedom Report, recognizing that anti-Semitism continues to be internationally prevalent. SCR 35 is an opportunity for California to go on record and state its absolute opposition to hateful images and other conduct in our own state. This resolution also urges the UC system to adopt its own resolution condemning all forms of anti-Semitism and racism, including Islamophobia. It is imperative that the California legislature continue its strong tradition of standing up against hatred and ignorance. SCR 35 does just that and has had broad bipartisan support throughout the process, receiving no votes. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on this measure. Thank you.
Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, Mr. Bloom, would you like co-authors? The first roll will be open for co-authors. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors. Co-authors on SCR 35. There are 75 co-authors added. Without objection, we may take a voice vote on the item. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. File items 41 and 42 are pass and retain. File item 43 we are going to pass temporarily. File items 44 through 48 pass and retain. We're going to pass temporarily on file item 49. Moving to file item 50, that's SCR 25. The clerk will read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 25 by Senator Block and others relative to the Memorandum of Understanding between Israel and California.
Mr. Bloom, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Jewish Caucus, I'm presenting SCR 25, which memorializes the California legislature's support of the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed last year between the Governor of California and the State of Israel. Trade between California and Israel is growing. In 2013, trade between Israel and California totaled $4 billion, and in 2014 it grew to over $4.2 billion. The MOU is producing a positive impact in economic, cultural, and academic cooperation between California and Israel, specifically in the areas of water conservation, cybersecurity, health, biotechnology, education, agricultural technology, and alternative energy. These are leading sectors of both economies. The MOU addresses concerns and underscores that both California and Israel excel in innovation and technology. A few examples of the fruits of the MOU. Israeli water experts have visited Northern and Southern California to discuss new water management techniques to help alleviate the effects of our current drought. And the Office of Emergency Services has met with Israeli officials to discuss a strategic planning on topics of high-level security, responding to targeted attacks, gaining access to California or Israeli markets, and workforce development projects. And the Rady School of Management at UCSD has the U.S.-Israel Center on Innovation and Economic Sustainability, which brings together academics, industry leaders, and entrepreneurs to work collaboratively on issues of innovation and growth. The enhanced collaboration facilitated by this MOU has created a synergy between the Golden State and what has become known as the Startup Nation that has proven to be of economic benefit to both parties, and reaffirming that it is the policy of the state of California and the state of Israel to do business with one another. Thank you. I ask that the first roll be open for co-authors and respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. Seeing no discussion on this item, the first roll will be open for co-authors. Clerk will open the roll. All members wishing to add as co-authors on SCR 25. This is for co-authors members. There are 74 co-authors added. Without objection, we may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. File items 51 through 59 pass and retained. We are moving back to file item 49. That's AB 562. The clerk will read.
Senate Bill 562 by Senator Laura, an act relating to infrastructure financing.
Mr. Rendon, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 562 provides specific authority to the City of Long Beach to develop a new downtown civic center. This development is part of a significant revitalization and modernization plan for downtown Long Beach. This bill provides statutory authority to the city to approve a public-private partnership that will provide the best value to city taxpayers. Under current law, Design Build has a 35-year lease term. Lease-back projects have a 55-year term. This bill allows a maximum lease-back term of 50 years to allow the city to negotiate the best deal for taxpayers. This bill has received no votes. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Rendon. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tie the vote. Ayes 75, noes 1. Measure passes. We are moving to the consent calendar. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will read the second-day consent calendar.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 24 by Senator Walk and others relative to the Lieutenant Colonel James C. Warren Memorial Interchange.
The clerk will open the roll on the consent calendar. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Ayes 77, no 0. Consent calendar is adopted. The clerk will read the remaining bills on the second-day consent calendar.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 12.
Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 22.
Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 23.
Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 24.
Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 27.
Ayes 77, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 28.
Ayes 77, no zero.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 30.
Ayes 77, no zero.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 38.
Ayes 77, no zero.
And Senate Concurrent Resolution 59.
Ayes 77, no zero. Members, I have a brief announcement that there will be a Republican caucus immediately upon adjournment. In the Rules Committee room, there will be a Republican caucus immediately upon adjournment. Members, if you could please find your seats. We are moving to adjournments in memory. Members, moving to adjournments in memory. Ms. Melendez, you are recognized for your adjournment in memory.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, today I rise to adjourn in the memory of Barry Dell, who passed away from a heart attack on June 23rd at the age of 72. Barry, he proudly served our community, and he also served in the Marine Corps for 21 years, once a Marine, always Marine. During his service, he did fight in the Vietnam War. He was in some serious firefights in Da Nang. He was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, as a matter of fact, for his service. And in his personal life, Barry did like to drive very fast, so much so that he was into drag racing, and which led to a career in opening an automotive repair shop, something where his heart really was. This morning, just a few hours ago, though, Barry was laid to rest by his wife, Shannon, of 50 years, his 2 daughters, his 2 granddaughters, who meant the absolute world to him. And I just ask that you take a moment this morning and join me in adjourning in the memory of Barry Dell. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Melendez. Members, please bring the names to the desk to be printed in the journal. All requests to adjourn in memory will be deemed read and printed in the journal. The session schedule is as follows. Tuesday, July 14th, check-in session. Wednesday, July 15th, check-in session. Thursday, July 16th, floor session at 9 a.m. All other items remaining will be passed and retained. All motions shall be continued. Seeing and hearing no further business, I am ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Garcia moves and Ms. Waldron seconds that this House stands adjourned until Thursday, July 16th at 9 a.m. Quorum call is lifted.